Hey, mythology mavens! If you're looking for a mythology that's influenced art, literature, and culture more than any other, then ancient Greek mythology is your jam. Seriously, it's like the source code for Western civilization's creative spirit. So, how did it all begin in this cosmic theater? Our first actor on stage is the OG, Chaos, the god of the void. This dude was a true self-starter, no mom, no dad. Just poof, he appeared. And he wasn't alone for long. Soon after, other heavy hitters just emerged. Talk about independent. Like Gaea, Earth, Tartarus, Underworld, and Eros, love. It's a pretty cool concept, right? Order bubbling up from chaos, driven purely by internal forces. Eros enters the chat, from self-made to procreation nation. Before Eros showed up, these primordial deities were, shall we say, a bit zen about the whole baby-making thing. But then Eros, the ancient primal god of sexual desire, and not the cute, arrow-wielding Cupid we know today, burst onto the scene, and everything changed. He was like a cosmic fertility shot, and suddenly, the gods were all about expanding the family tree. Chaos, clearly inspired, was the first to produce, bringing forth Erebus, darkness, and Nyx, night. But here's where it gets really wild. This dark duo then combined and gave birth to Ether, light, and Hemera, day. Darkness and night creating light and day. Talk about an ironic twist. It's such a fascinating, contrast-cute moment in mythology, explaining natural phenomena like day and night. And just a little heads up, while these names sound super grand in English and Greek, they're actually just everyday words. Gaea's spicy family saga, incest and usurpation on the horizon. Not to be outdone by Chaos's prolific parenting, Gaea, our Earth Mother, went on a birthing spree herself. She single-handedly brought forth Uranus, sky, the Uria, or mountains, and Pontus, sea. Again, these are pretty down-to-earth, pun intended, natural elements. Don't let the fancy names fool you, they're just common words in Greek. Now, buckle up, because here's where Greek mythology gets spicy. Gaea literally got together with her own son, Uranus, sky. Yes, a mother-son relationship of epic proportions. And from their union, they birthed the famous 12 Titans. But wait, there's more. Gaea then turned her attention to another of her sons, Pontus, sea, and their underwater romance resulted in a whole slew of sea deities. It's important to remember we can't judge these stories by modern standards. Ancient Greeks used these ethical quandaries to explain natural phenomena like day and night, and geographical features like the sky and sea. Since they didn't know Earth was just a speck in the cosmos, their worldview was Earth-centric. And who's the ultimate Earth goddess? Our fertility queen, Gaea. As the physical embodiment of the Earth, she's the ultimate source of all life. So, Gaea's lineage? Definitely the direct bloodline. As for Chaos, let's just say he's a distant relative who doesn't visit often, but is definitely family. The road to God King. Uranus and Cronus's daddy issues. Since Uranus' sky was Gaea's son, he naturally became the eldest son and rightfully claimed the throne as the first God King of the Greek mythological universe. But alas, his reign was short-lived, usurped by his own son. So how tyrannical was Uranus? He had a serious case of paternal anxiety and fertility phobia. Every time Gaea gave birth, he'd immediately shove the child back into her womb, or rather into Tartarus, the deep underworld. His motive? Simple. Fear of being overthrown by his offspring like a divine firewall against future generations. After countless forced miscarriages, Gaea finally had enough. She cursed Uranus and rallied her children for rebellion. But they were all too scared of Uranus's divine might, all except for her youngest son Cronus. Gaea gave him a sharpened sickle, a tool symbolizing the severing of the old order. So, one quiet night, Cronus ambushed his father, castrated Uranus, and threw his severed parts into the sea. That single act severed the bond between sky and earth, ushering in the era of the second-generation god king. As Uranus's blood dripped onto the earth, Gaea became pregnant again, giving birth to the Erinyes, Furies, goddesses of vengeance and conscience, the giants, future adversaries of the Olympian gods, the Meliae, tree nymphs embodying trees in nature, and that symbolic something of Uranus's floating in the sea, mingled with the water and divine power, causing foam to churn and waves to break, and from this, Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, was born. She's also known as Venus, a Roman name, and her name, Aphros, means foam, hence, born from foam. This iconic scene has inspired countless masterpieces by artists like Da Vinci and Botticelli. And let me tell you, this goddess will play a major role in future love triangles and even wars. Cronus, having successfully dethroned his father, became the new god king. He married his sister Rhea, and together they began their own divine lineage, the second-generation Titans. But did the new king usher in an enlightened age? Not a chance. Cronus soon heard a terrifying prophecy. Your child will usurp you, just as you usurped your father. So he pulled a total copy-paste of Uranus's behavior. Every time his wife and sister Rhea gave birth, Cronus would swallow the child whole. He devoured 5 of them and was eagerly awaiting the 6th. But Rhea wasn't going to take it anymore. She secretly hid her 6th child, wrapping a stone in swaddling clothes and tricking Cronus into swallowing it instead. Cronus, with his failing eyesight, swallowed the fake baby without a second thought. And that unswallowed child? None other than the future savior of all gods and founder of the Olympian era, Zeus. Zeus takes the throne, a cycle of devouring and reversal. Since Cronus came to power by shafting his dad, he was constantly paranoid that his own children would do the same. So every time Rhea gave birth, he'd literally eat them alive. But this time, Rhea pulled off a classic switcheroo, tricking Cronus with a stone and successfully hiding Zeus. And what do you know? History repeated itself, as Zeus forcefully overthrew Cronus's rule, becoming the new god king. This generational usurpation gene truly is something else, isn't it? The birth of Athena. Zeus swallows prophecy, spits out a goddess. You might be wondering, will Zeus suffer the same fate as his father and be overthrown by his own son? Well, ever since Zeus took the throne, there was indeed a prophecy. A son born to him, and the Oceanid goddess Métis would usurp his rule. Zeus, upon hearing this, wasted no time. As soon as Métis became pregnant, he swallowed her whole. Talk about a permanent solution to a problem. But behold, from that day on, Zeus suffered from excruciating headaches. The pain became unbearable. So he finally took an axe and split open his own head. And out sprang a fully armored, magnificent goddess, Athena. Since Athena was a goddess and not a son, Zeus cleverly blocked that prophecy of being overthrown by a male heir. It just goes to show what goes around comes around. The stable framework of the Greek mythological universe, 3 realms and the Olympian gods. And so, a relatively stable mythological world finally emerged. This world revolved around Gaea, Earth. Beyond Earth was chaos, endless space, and beneath Earth lay the realm of Tartarus, the underworld. Later, Zeus entrusted the underworld to his brother Hades, making it Hades's private domain. Zeus himself resided in a place called Olympus. There's actually a real mountain in Greece called Mount Olympus, and because of its towering height, the ancient Greeks believed the gods lived at its summit. But in reality, Olympus is more like a floating, independent, alternate dimension in the sky, as the gods could view every corner of the earth from Olympus, truly a god's eye view. The 12 Olympian gods, the divine A-team of love and strife. Olympus was home to 12 principal gods, essentially the A-team of the divine world. They were Zeus, king of the gods; Hera, queen of the gods; Demeter, goddess of agriculture; Poseidon, god of the sea; Artemis, goddess of the moon hunt; Apollo, god of the sun/music/arts; Athena, goddess of wisdom; Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty; Ares, god of war; Hephaestus, god of fire/forge; Hermes, messenger of the gods; Dionysus, god of wine. Among them, Hera, Demeter, and Poseidon were Zeus's siblings. Artemis, Apollo, Athena, Ares, Hephaestus, Hermes, and Dionysus were all Zeus's children. Only Aphrodite has a unique origin story. Strictly speaking, she's Zeus's aunt, after all. She sprang from his father's. Well, let's just say bits. Talk about a messy family tree. You might be wondering why Hestia isn't on the list of the 12. Some versions do include Hestia instead of Dionysus. And as for Hades, he doesn't live on Olympus. He's the lord of the underworld and has his own lavish mansion down below. Gods, demigods, and humans. A multifaceted Greek world. That's right, not all gods resided on Olympus. For instance, Hades, Persephone, queen of the underworld, and many offspring of Nyx, goddess of night, daughter of chaos, all lived in the mysterious underworld. And many of the children of Pontus, god of the sea, son of Gaea, made their home in the vast ocean. Of course, countless other deities, just like humans, lived on Earth, such as the nymphs in forests and by waters. The Olympian gods often visited the mortal realm in disguise and frequently had intimate encounters with humans, resulting in demigod children. While these demigods, like humans, would age and die, they often possessed superpowers, like immense strength or incredible fighting skills. These demigod heroes are actually the protagonists of most Greek mythological tales. They're the real influencers of the ancient world. The origin of humanity, Prometheus's stolen fire and suffering. So far, we've covered how the gods came to be in ancient Greek mythology. First, I guarantee your head is spinning because mine is too. Second, it's incredibly chaotic and full of family drama. Third, its biggest feature is its up and down, incredibly fantastical, mind-bending nature. Fourth, the son-killing father gene is already evident. Now that we've established the divine order, how did humans come into existence? The most popular account goes like this. Zeus had a cousin named Prometheus. Like Zeus, he was a descendant of two titans. It was Prometheus who, in the likeness of the gods, molded humans from clay and taught them how to use fire, bringing them out of their primitive, raw meat-eating existence. Ancient Greeks were accustomed to sacrificing animals to the gods. Typically, they would burn the bones and fat of the animal for the gods, keeping the meat for themselves. Why this arrangement? Because Prometheus, the creator of humanity, once presented 2 portions of food to Zeus, asking him to choose one. Whichever Zeus chose would belong to the gods, and the unchosen portion would belong to humans. But here's the twist. This was a clever trick by Prometheus, who was definitely siding with humanity. He wrapped the delicious meat and entrails in an ox stomach, deliberately making it look unappealing. And the bones, stripped of meat, he wrapped in rich fat, making them appear incredibly tempting. Zeus, in fact, saw right through Prometheus's little game, but he pretended not to know, deliberately choosing the portion that looked tasty but was actually just bones. And so from that day on, the Greeks only needed to burn bones and fat as offerings to the gods. As for Zeus, he finally found a legitimate reason to punish Prometheus. Citing Prometheus's deception, he had him chained to Mount Caucasus, where an eagle would peck out his liver every day. Talk about torture until death. Because Prometheus suffered on behalf of humanity, humans were able to multiply on Earth, living lives blessed by the gods and with plenty of meat to eat. Doesn't this story sound a little familiar? The legacy of myth, epic heroes, and immortal legends. This is a general framework of the Greek mythological world. It's on this grand stage that epic tales unfolded, such as Heracles' adventures, Jason's quest for the Golden Fleece, the Trojan War, and Odysseus' long journey home. Even today, Greek mythology remains an inexhaustible source of inspiration for artists and storytellers. After reading this divine family drama, don't you agree that even the gods' lives felt pretty down to earth?
Are you ready?